Welcome home. I would have loved to do a nice unpacking video, but because everything was wet and I was traveling in the van, I kind of spread everything out, let dry and stuff like that. So I just unloaded the van, dumped everything here, and kind of give you an overview of what I used, what I didn't use. Let's start off. Yes, of course. Right here are the rain covers for the panniers. Obviously I use those guys, so let's just shove them away for the front bag. The raincoat, it was on the outside of the front bag, so I really used that during the last day. Otherwise I haven't really used it. I tried to use it when it was cold, and that didn't work quite well for that. But during the rain day, it was good. Same for the rain pants. So I used that for the last day, riding through the rain. Worked awesome. On the rain pants, I forgot. I needed to tuck them in. And for that, I used metal clips to hold them tight together. Because if you leave them open, then it goes right in the chain ring and otherwise gets messy and messed around. My normal pants, I just tuck them into the socks, but when it rains you don't want to do that because the water comes from the top. So you want the pants to overlay your socks. That's why I didn't do it this time. Just let's go on with the last day. So this jersey I did use on the day when I rode to New York City because it was overcast, and that's a short sleeve jersey. And then on the rain day I used that underneath it just for warmth. The love-hate relationship with the bib, that's the, what was it called, Expedition or whichever is the most padded one. The problem is if I wear that under my pants, it got kind of hot. So at the beginning of my ride, this was bothering me more than helped me. Toward the end, I was wearing that much more and enjoying it. Really in the beginning, in the middle, I was wearing often just my wool underwear, which we'll find here too. So here's one pair of wool socks. Yeah, down tough. Oh yeah, on the last day I was wearing those guys underneath the sealskin socks. We get that too, to give me some warmth. This here is the sleeping pad that I used to sleep, the Neolite. If I would buy something, it would be just rectangular, not body shaped. It's just, I like the full width and you're not always falling off it. But it's an old purchase. It still works perfectly fine. It's not gonna get replaced. It's good enough for me. Foam sleeping mat, since we add sleeping mats here. Inherited that from my dad, and it comes with, the rubber band is still on the bike. I roll it up and put on a rubber band, which is just a small tire tube that perfectly fits around it. Not a bicycle tire, but it was a car tire from Citroen 2CV. That's kind of a narrowish wheel. The tubes, I mean, not tires. So this mat, I did sleep on it twice just because I was too lazy to pull out the other mat, the inflatable one, and it worked fine because I'm kind of like a hard sleeper anyway. I use that a lot for the two-man tent on the side where I don't put the inflatable mat, so I can sit on it or put my stuff on it. It's kind of really nice. It protects the tent floor a little bit and It's just nice to sit on that thing. I haven't used it as much for doing the day breaks. I just haven't done that many during the day breaks. Right in the beginning I did a little bit, but then never got around it. Definitely a luxury item. Probably wouldn't have missed it too much if it wasn't along, I think. Water bladder, I have 2 of them. This here is still the Canadian water. My problem was I never knew when I would be able to refill my bottles, and having this extra water bladder full with water is a nice reserve that I can just go ahead and drink and not worry about it. During the rainy day, I didn't drink very much on the ride on Canada. Probably should have drank a little bit more, but yeah, didn't drink much, so that's why this is still full. There were other times when I really wish that was filled. I ran out of, or close to ran out of water. And several times I used that the proper way, where I just drank everything out, fill these 3 water bottles up again, and then went on. Front bag. So here is one. So no, those are not the ones. Those were the spare ones. That wasn't along. It was these ones here. So extension cord with multiple plugins. Whenever I travel and have electronic gadget and need to charge, I always take the extension cord along, no matter what. It makes it so versatile, especially when there's an outlet that's already being used by someone or by something. You can still share it with the splitter there and also guide power more to where you are. So something that I drag along no matter what kind of type it is. The rag, just had it in a plastic bag because of the rain last day. Normally I would just didn't protect it that much. That one was used to wipe off the tent with the water off the tent fly, either inside or outside. I just recently washed that on my trip. That's why it's clean. It was pretty dirty there from the tent. I was keeping that dry in case I needed to wipe off my bike at the car rental place. So here we have one pannier, some extra plastic bags that I didn't use. I should have used them for my shoes, because these panniers, both the front ones, were pretty low, and I did go through a deep puddle, and that brought in some moisture in there, and I noticed that my shoes did get wet. So in this one and that one, let's just go together in there. What used to be in there, there's a little bit more baggies. You just kind of always need baggies. One thing was, yeah, that's still wet. You feel some moisture there from the rain, the puddle mainly. This here is Anchor solar panel. I have used it slightly, not that much. The strings are so I could strap it across my rack when everything is on it. That did work. The thing is, I was riding the C&O and Gap, and a lot of the trails are shaded where I was. So the benefit of this solar charger wasn't really there. The solar charger, if it has the better part of the day, it can fully charge a phone. A power brick would be harder, probably. On this trip, yeah, I wouldn't have missed it if I wouldn't have taken it along, and would have simplified my life a little bit, because it does take away room in the bag and you have to deal with that. Next thing is, oh yeah, we can go through this here. This was my Amazon purchase from China. This is the 3-in-1 face cover. That it has a ponytail opening there in case I ever grow out my hair. But you already saw how I use that. Mainly for sun protection is the main reason with the face guard, so you really can close your whole face off on the sun protection. But toward the end I also use that a little bit on colder days because it does kind of keep the wind off your ears and stuff and keep you a bit warmer. These gloves came in a 3-pack that I bought on the way. The reason for that is, later I can show you, I had cycling gloves that were really small, so it would like not cover my wrist here. Obviously the fingers, it was fingerless. And what I really wanted is, because my shirt didn't go all the way to the cycling gloves, I wanted to protect my wrist a little bit more so I don't get too much sun on my hands. So that's where I bought these ones. They were like I forgot how much, cheap for a 3-pack of them. This is my second set that I used. The first set I used to clean off the chain, and when I cleaned it and re-oiled it, came in quite handy. These ones are so cheap, they kind of wear out on the handlebar grip, but it's fine. The only problem is, of course, you cannot swipe on the phone, which was kind of tough. Interestingly, on the phone, I did put not this big, but a smaller Ziploc bag, a quartz Ziploc bag, a freezer bag was it actually, over it, just so the rain doesn't directly go onto my phone. Theoretically, my phone should be okay with it, but I didn't want to risk it. And even with the Ziploc bag on it, I still could swipe and tap on the screen. So that was pretty awesome. This bag I had in my front handlebar bag that has the metal spoon in it, and later on I put in the plastic fork, plastic spoon and a plastic knife in there. But the metal spoon is just like the most important utensils. You buy a quart of ice cream, you need the metal spoon. You want to use Nutella, you can butter your bread with the metal spoon and stuff on. So I have it in the front handlebar because I needed access to it more often than my cooking stuff. I know I go pretty random. This here is a power cord, a USB-C to USB-C that went along with my power bank, also in the handlebar, so I could reach out my phone and the camera during the ride. The power bank should be still in the handlebar. So back to these bags here. So right up in the top were the rain cover for the panniers. So one had the front panniers, the 2 rain cover for the front panniers, one had the 2 for the rear panniers. One front pocket was the rain pants and rain coat in it. The other front pocket I had the orange bag, not this one, the other orange bag in it that contained my down jacket, gloves and hat. And we're getting to that later. Otherwise, in the front were the solar panel I already showed you, the shoes, depending on which shoes I wore. So if I wore my tennis shoes, it would be the sandals that go in here, or the tennis shoes in case I wore the sandals. So on my last day, it was the tennis shoes in there, and I did not wrap the tennis shoes in plastic bags, so they got a little bit wet when I was riding through the puddle. Then I have this food bag, that's the gray one, and is that the food bag? Yes. The orange food bag there. So the difference on my plan on the food bag was this is more like day food, snack food, and this is the cooking food. So let's go ahead and dig into the snack food. It's a mess here. So we have already here some candy bars, kind of live off them and then get sick of them. So be sure to not overbuy them, so you can buy whatever you feel like later on. So what we have here is still a salami. I carry the salami like this here, hard salami that doesn't need to be refrigerated. Often a brick of hard cheese like Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese or so. I think you saw that in my video, and I could eat that with some bread or bagels as a snack. More bars, chicken salad that I actually never ate. Right here is a tube of jelly. So the jelly tubes really came in handy just because you don't have to carry a huge old jar, a glass jar or something like that. So that's a tube, you just squeeze it directly onto the bread or bagel and can eat it. I also had a tube of peanut butter that I ate all the way. I have this thing that the peanut butter kind of sticks to my mouth and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. After that tube I was sick of peanut butter. So that's all what I have left in this baggie. More candy bars. Sometimes I buy some other sweets or chocolate. Oh, that's my toothbrush and toothpaste that came from a different bag. Here's the power brick that goes in my handlebar. There is the headlight. It's a old Energizer that was really cheap. They sold them, but it does everything what I needed to. The red light is really kind of nice because it's red. It's compared to nowadays, especially the expensive ones, this one is not as bright. It just uses 3 AAA battery, but the price is right and I have it and it's good enough. This here is one of the breads. This one I didn't actually do on the ride, it was on a drive back home, but that would be something I use, like the sourdough bread from Aldi, for example. I know I buy too much at Aldi. If they have the more narrow one, I did get the more narrow one just because it packs nicer. But also on other stores may have also sourdough artisan breads. It's the bread that it doesn't squish right away. It's the American toast style bread just doesn't work. Normally I don't buy apples like this. This is like when I was driving, but I did carry apples, up to 3 apples at a time, over in the bottle holder on my bike. As you saw, 3 small apples fit in there perfectly. One time I had an avocado along as well, and I put that on top there. Avocado with bread tastes very good. Yep, that's this here. So let's go into this gray bag, see what's still left here. So here we have some tuna. The tuna is, oh wait, it's more than just tuna. The whole meal. Sorry, need 2 hands here. It's the whole meal here. So that would be a whole meal for me. It's tuna with one of those rice mixes that you cook. So you just put both of them in, add some water and cook it. And it tastes pretty good. That is enough for one person. And you might still be a little hungry depending on you. I don't need to explain that, do I? Pancake mix. If you don't know the story, watch the videos. There's another one of those rice mixes that would go great with tuna along. Here we have the bag of leftover seasoning and stuff. So right here I have tea. I didn't drink as much tea as I took along. I don't know, it's kind of nice in cold days when you sit there and don't do anything and want something warm. I have some awesome loose leaf tea. Don't do that. It's really a pain to work with. Just use the bag tea and use the awesome loose leaf tea for when you're at home or somewhere more convenient. Seasoning. I should have used more caraway. Did not use the caraway much. I have here the cayenne pepper, paprika mix. That was a little bit too much paprika and other stuff. Didn't need it so much. The curry I used with ketchup when I purchased the whole bulk of sausage, which I think 2/3 I probably ate of that. And 1/3 I left with the warm shower. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. But the curry came in really handy, mixing up with the ketchup. It tastes very good. Another thing that I absolutely did not use is the minced onions here. I wished I would have come up with a little bit more variety of stuff to cook. So I have to think about that. What I did use was the cinnamon for the Kaiserschmarrn / Katze, the apples, sugar and cinnamon and pancakes. So that was pretty good. And the coriander I used up too when I cooked. And I really liked cooking with the coriander. It really was surprising. Then I had some pepper and salt here. And also sugar for a while. That you use occasionally here and there. So then we have reading glasses. I don't know why. Both of them broke on the same side. So I couldn't take two of them together and repair it into one perfect one. I love these reading glasses. Besides the almonds, they always break on it. So you can buy them fairly reasonable at AliExpress. So that is the front bags. Yeah, one thing that everybody knows is my front bags were kind of low and I was hitting the ground quite a bit during my tour and had to worry about that a lot. So I'm wondering if I can unscrew the mounting hardware, put the holes lower so the whole bag comes up. Maybe it's possible. Let's go around the corner and see on the other things. Besides, yeah, there are the bungees. Always nice to have bungees along because you can strap stuff on top of your bike, like the water bladder, jackets, or something like that. In my case, I also had the green mat that was strapped on with that. Oh yeah, bananas, they were always on the side of my front panniers right here. That's why there's like some dirt there from the banana peel when it was used as a garbage can. Bananas are always great, as everybody knows. Oh, I had 3 water bottles. The small one on the bottom, which was quite handy. There were some water fountains where only the small one would fit underneath it well. And so I used that one to fill all the other bottles up. So that was nice. The large bottles, I still am looking for the perfect single wall bottle. Haven't had one. This one was the best one to drink out. The other SKS one, the valve always closed weird and didn't let the air back in, and was just a pain. Let's go around the corner. There is the small water bottle. So here we have another rain cover. This here is the bag for the mattress, the air mattress. I use this garbage compactor bag on one of the corners. This one, the corner is cut off, so there's a small hole, so I can put that corner over the valve, and inside of it is a rubber band that I then go around the valve to tighten it up, and I use that bag then to inflate it. So you open up the bag, close it, capture all the air, then push down and inflate the bag. If you have questions about that, let me know in a comment and I can talk more about that. Here are the sealskin socks. They worked actually fairly well with the sandals. They kept me mostly dry. Not totally sure why I got wet, if it was at the end, if it was the sweat, or if eventually some water did seep through it. But I had the large one on the socks. I think I have a medium or so. I'm not totally sure. But the large one were perfect for me. My shoes that I also use for hiking and everyday wear, I purchased a whole bunch of them because I really like them, because they are very breathable, have a wide foot box. I like them. Ultra, what was it? Lone Peak or something like that. Oh, let's go into our handlebar bag. It's a mess. So right here are the clips that I used for my the rain pants. I sometimes use them also for dress pants or pants like these here, but I just use the socks, tuck them in. Using these clips probably would look a little bit nicer, but yeah. So these clips were only used for the last day, the rain day. Good that I had that. Here we have the bike lock and the fob that activates and deactivates the alarm. Now it's activated. Now it's deactivated. I talked about that before too, a little bit about the alarm, so I'm not gonna go into it. Oh man, there are a lot of empty baggies. So here we have another goodie bag. Let me dump this out. Glass cases. That's not for the reading glasses, but for the sunglasses. So I had 2 pair of glasses. One is the sunglasses. Those were Menard's safety glasses. don't really know if I like them. They were kind of really close to it. The airflow around it was not very good. So sweat got trapped pretty easily in there. So you might want to find better glasses than that. Glass wipes, wet wipes, and towel. Obviously, had plenty of that. The other pair of glasses is right outside with my helmet. It's the clear glass. It's just safety glasses, clear ones. They didn't have a anti-fog coating on it, so I did notice that a little bit. They were extremely cheap, but the clear ones are good for when you're riding in the dark, obviously, when the sun is not shining, or when it's shady and bright together. It's really hard to see things then, and I really like a clear glasses on that. Headphones, earbuds. Chopsticks for lips. I actually didn't use that this time. It would be different if you would have gone to a dry, sunny area out west probably or so. The DJI Mic Mini, I did use that sometimes. Most of the times I'm either too lazy like now, or because I'm just grabbing the mic on the run, turn it on, record something, turn it off, and continue on. That's why I didn't use the mic as much. Probably you guys are regretting that. But here's a lock. Definitely I use that. That's about as secure as it needs to be. It's small. I mean, once somebody goes through that lock, yeah, they're screwed anyway. Trusty old pocket knife. That was a pocket knife I got as a kid back long time ago from my uncle. It said MAN on it from the truck that he drove or so. So it's not a Swiss Army knife. I've used that several times because it was in the front bag and I needed to cut something, bread or something. So I used this one. My other knife was in the kitchen stuff, and that was really inconvenient. So my next recommendation is to store the knife and the spoon together up handy. Hopefully I remember that. Another thing that always comes in handy is having the charger plug and charger cable. One sec. Okay, here we dump it. So this is somewhat high wattage 2 USB-C charger. It's great for charging equipment and another USB-C cable. So I use this cable and the cable for the battery pack, and I could charge the phone and the battery or two devices at once with that. Comes really handy. One thing I noticed is with this charging brick, my headphones did not charge with the charging brick. Kind of interesting. It probably couldn't negotiate the power or something. I got some stickers to give away. Really haven't done that. And then the bingo stuff. Maybe I need to go through and figure out where we are with the bingo. My ride was way busier than I might have thought. I thought it might be boring, lonely or whatnot. And so I had all these activities for me to go along, but really did not need that. So this one was definitely extra. Then here I have a block of paper, a marker, and a pen. Definitely handy, and I use that. Would definitely do that again. Up front, right here, I would have my wallet, the keys that I just showed you. I own a Garmin InReach, so I took that along. A checkbook in case I needed to write a check for a campsite. Never needed it. Most campsites are online now. There's nobody there, so Camp America tax you always have to pay, unfortunately. And that's it already. So the two side pockets I just used kind of during the day as I needed. I don't use any paper maps or so the top part I never use. Right in here I store the rain cover for the handlebar bag. I did put some padding inside the handlebar bag. It's just like carpet foam, so things are a little bit more protected, especially electronics. Not totally sure if I needed that this time around or not. Here we have the orange bag that was in one of the front panniers in the front pocket, and it would have been much more squished together because there's the one. Hold on, let me pull it out. All right. There is this down jacket, and that really squishes down quite densely. But along with that down jacket, I also had winter gloves in case I needed that. I would have needed that if I wouldn't have bought the white gloves. There were some times when it got cold, but I just used the white gloves and it was good enough. So this time I did not actually use them. But had I not have the white gloves, I definitely would have used those ones. The beanie hat is something that I did use more for sleeping than anything else. When it gets cold at night, a hat really helps a lot. So I would leave home not without a hat. These here are the Icebreaker wool blend undies, briefs. I cycled in that multiple days, many miles, instead of blank out diaper pants, cycling shorts, just because of the sweat that chafed me and irritated me and really gave me a hard time there at the beginning and the middle of my ride. So next here we have our sleeping bag. I have that in a rain compression bag to make sure it doesn't get wet. Let me pull that out. It's a 40-degree bag, worked awesomely. Besides that, 45-degree bag. So I wore that down to 40 degrees. We did use that. More on that. How we manage that is with additional clothing. But yes, if I would have known what temperatures I would get into, or if I would have thought a little bit more, I would have gotten my next warmer bag. One thing I like to do along with the sleeping bag is, this is a silk liner, just to keep the sleeping bag a little bit cleaner, and I can wash the liner easier than a sleeping bag. One campsite was really loud, so I transferred the earplugs from my first aid kit, that's where I stored them, into my sleeping bag, because that's way handier where it ought to be. An extra rag I actually never used. And then the compression sack here. Wow, we're getting there. This sign was pretty awesomely cool. As everybody knows, that's at DC first, then New York City, initials, and later on just a question mark. And yes, you can kind of just wipe that off. That piece of plastic is in the sliced salami that Aldi sells. In here, I don't really need to open that up, is the tent. At the end, I actually managed to get the poles in there as well. Normally the poles would be in the other bag along with the clothing. So let's go ahead here. So up front here is, yeah, it's kind of silly, all these things. This is like two flaps that holds it there, so you can take it off, and I never do that. I wish it wasn't that fancy. The microfiber towel, definitely use that towel, wash it along the way. So yeah, definitely was good to take that towel along. Any other towel probably would have worked as well. I don't know if it would have packed down as much or how it would have dried, but this one worked pretty decent. Here is my bathroom baggie. Let's dump that one out. So in here, more earplugs, floss, earplugs, the laundry detergent. I even bought more. That's Woolite. I even bought more on the road to refill that. It's definitely useful. Theoretically could have used a bigger bottle, but I don't know how much stuff you want to take along. A soap. I kind of snitched another soap there, but I never needed that. Yeah, take a small soap bar along, not the full size. This one wasn't full size bar, it was already worn down. Some comb. I did actually need one comb. Where was that? I forgot. But my hair was messy and it was town day. I wasn't wearing a helmet. Oh, in Niagara Falls when I went to the restaurant, I know. Shampoo, that came in handy as well a couple times. Specifically when you're staying in campgrounds. Again, campgrounds don't have shampoo, soap, and towels. So that's where you need that. Then below that, we have chamois butter. So that's basically just anti-shaving cream that you put into your area, but it kind of feels like just general skin lotion. So if you need skin lotion, you can use that too. But yeah, I had that, so I smeared some of that on my booty and that region, but probably could have survived without it. Toilet paper, definitely use that. The shovel. Oh, there's a spider. Yeah. It's not a spider, it's a spiderless spider. Well, that one ran away. There is a shovel. I did use that on a rail trail out in Indiana. Like no bathrooms or anything. It was pretty hard to dig that too. I could have survived without a shovel. So I'm not totally sure if I would take that on again. Next is the first aid kit, which is more than just a first aid kit. Let's open it up and dump it out. I don't know where that baggie kind of came from. I kind of snitched that from my spouse. Alright, there we go. So we have Luco tape, great for hiking when you get blisters and stuff. I took that along in case. Well, the whole emergency kit is for in case. I did not use that. Not totally sure what I would have used it for. There is a Leatherman that has a scissors on it. Didn't really use that. I would have used it if I needed the Luco tape though. Here we have tweezers. Did I use tweezers? No, not really. Fingernail clippers, I did use them. A spare set of lighter. Didn't need them. But then again, it's an emergency kit, right? You want to have stuff you don't need. Extra gasket for the water filter. Bunch of first band-aids. Tylenol. This is... what is this? I think that's the... if you have a pop in your air mattress or so. That was that. No, that was the patch for the air mattress. Band-aids, rubber bands for blowing up the mattress. Those are spare rubber bands. A sewing kit, that's so small that I just threw that in like, hey, that comes in handy. I did actually use this sewing kit. I cooked boiled eggs at the DC Airbnb place, and I used the needle to poke the eggs so they don't explode, and it was working awesomely. So let's continue on. Right up here in the top, I had my safety vest. Definitely love it and use it a lot. And man, it's either sweaty or moist or something. Both. I don't know. So it this way. Right here is the umbrella for the phone holder. At DC, I removed it just because the set screw wasn't there. I was planning on taping it back on with just tape so it stays on there, but then just never bothered. So the phone holder worked perfectly though. Man, this stuff did get wet here. That's a face mask. In case it gets dusty or so, I thought of taking that along. Did not need it, did not use it, was extra. And that's it for this here. So let's dig into this bag now. So this bag is the cooking bag. The frying pan would have been in here as well. So, as mentioned, this stuff is not packed correctly anymore. So, on the bottom would be the air mattress, all rolled up. Then here would be the sleeping bag. So that uses up most of the bag. Then here's the kitchen bag, and the gas was in here. Two canisters initially. So here we have the third set of gloves that I never used. I took along, I really did not know how bad my shaving would be, so I had there some bag balm as well. That's a can that never was opened, and extra toilet paper in there. So I didn't need those two things. Would have eased a lot not to have taken those ones along. I was really amazed that one can basically lasted me all the way to DC. So after DC I started using this can really. So that was going to DC was 26 days or so, I think. So impressive. And I have cooked quite a decent amount of stuff. So yeah, that's it. Just the can. I bought Nutella that I haven't yet started using. Normally it wouldn't be in here. It would be in a different place. That's the tripod that I probably should use right now. I put that into this bag when it was raining, just to keep it out of the rain. Yeah, let me go ahead and show you the awesomeness of the tripod. Which you can see. I just screw it on the bottom of the camera, fold out the legs like this, and right there. So now I can use, no, not this here, but this. There. So now I can use the extended pole and angle it the right way. I can angle the camera. So right here we have the kitchen set. So if I go ahead and open that, the mesh is basically just to hold it all nicely together. I started putting the plate into a plastic bag because the plate was getting kind of dirty from the pot rubbing on the plate, and yeah, it's probably better that way to keep the plate nice and clean. This is a titanium pot with the handles. Definitely use that one and the lid. So in here I keep a whole goodies stuff. One is a little dish towel just to dry things up. Then we have the stove, which is an MRS stove with the igniter, and as you see, piece of shit, it falls apart. So the cable for the igniter needs to go exactly in there, so it sparks. It was able to do that a while, then it didn't work anymore. If this whole thing wouldn't come off, then it would be okay, but it's always coming off for me now, and I had to reassemble it every time I'm using it. I have the pocket rocket, which basically is the same thing without the igniter, slightly different head. I didn't have any problems with that so far, as I remember. So really disappointed on that. Seen other people using some Chinese knockoff versions. Maybe those are the ones to go to. So sometimes when you spend a lot of money, that doesn't help you at all. So I have a cup here with a lot of stuff in it. Right here I have a carabiner for the spoon. Do you a favor. Don't bother with the carabiner. One thing is, this kind of comes off. It's not a very safe carabiner. So if you cook your spoon on the carabiner and rely on that, it's kind of dangerous. And yeah, just had to lug it around later on. Dish soap definitely comes in handy when you're washing some grease out. Don't need much, as you see. Lighter definitely comes in handy if I have an MRS stove with igniter. I cut one of the blue sponges. The blue sponges, unlike the yellow sponges, isn't as abrasive here for the coated stuff. That's why I use a blue. I don't want to scratch off the non-stick coating. Yeah, so this sponge is just to clean the pot. Opal knife. Yeah, one thing I noticed on that knife is I have a hard time opening it up, and it was a little bit dirty or wet or something. I'm not totally sure when that happens, but like right now it's really hard to open it up, and I don't like that at all. So, and it's not that ring here, the safety ring. So I have to ask the Opel user if there's something they know about. But it's really nice and sharp. I like that. But this opening part annoys me so much that if that sticks around, I'm not gonna take that knife along again. The old cheap MAN knife would be it. Cup for drinking or for mixing up your batter, for pancake batter. Definitely need it. Then in here I had a hat. Man, that's got wet, yeah. Things did get wet from all the rain. So yeah, definitely double pack stuff. That wasn't double packed. So yeah, this hat, the main reason I used that is at the beginning. Later on, I never touched that. When there are mosquitoes and I'm at the camp and was using the mosquito net with that hat to keep the net away from my face so the mosquito can't sting through the net. Lines, I thought it would be a good idea to take them along. Did not need them. Cutting board, we did use that when we did potatoes and stuff like that. Not as much as I thought. Probably because I didn't get too exotic with cooking. And oh yeah, right here is the water filter bag. So one thing I'm always having problem is the Sawyer water filter, how to store it, because it seems like it's really hard to reprime that, and the flow is really low, and getting a good flow again. Using the Knock bag with that filter, definitely a good thing. Pretty much everybody does that. So right here we have another pair of wool socks. They might be slightly thicker than the black ones. Hiking pants, I think this is, REI, what was it? Oh, it's just a size. REI hiking pants, nylon, that's basically the key. So the point of that is to protect me from the sun, and they really worked out well. One thing I need to look at is I need to grab my glasses for that. Hold on. Where did I throw them? Okay, maybe later. Let's go at that later when I find my glasses again. But all the nylon pants, they wore out at the bottom where you sit with the bicycle seat. And I want to see if that happened on those ones or not. This here is a nylon hiking shirt. Also did very well. It looks like it's got a little bit bleached out from the sun or so. I mean, I was wearing it a lot. Definitely has the smell of wearing it too. So that really did work. So this bag is done. Let's go ahead and look at the other bag. This would have been my clothes bag. What that means is this frying pan here would be in the other bag, not in my clothes bag. So in this frying pan is the spatula, which you all saw with the little stand, so you can stand it on without making the spatula dirty. Kind of nice. What is not as nice is it's still melted on the edge. And the frying pan, which I used a lot, and became the joke of me taking it along. There's another pair of socks. These are actually my dress socks that would go with the pants that I'm wearing right here, and that shirt. Those are my town things. Actually, that shirt I purchased in New York City. I wanted a second pair of second shirt, just so I can wear something more clean. Let me correct the camera here a little bit. So then we had a couple of clothes bags, 3 in total. Yeah, this one was when it was all organized, this one was that my dress clothes were in it. I have these lightweight shorts. I used them for a hiking trip before and cut out the liner to make it even lighter. But these shorts are great for sleeping in, or if you need to wear shorts at the campsite or go swimming or so. Yeah, having minimalistic shorts is awesome. Fortunately, this one doesn't have any elastic left. I need to get rid of that. And it was just holding up on that string. So these shorts this specific pair of shorts goes bye-bye, and I need to find a replacement for it. Right here is my other t-shirt that I took along, just cotton t-shirt for town. Another 2 pair of wool socks. And those ones were for cycling as well. This bag is my sleepwear in it. Sleepwear consisted of wool long underwear. So right here we have a nice thick wool long sleeve shirt. And then nice long underwear, wool, and 2 pair of wool socks exclusively for sleeping. What else do we have in there? Let's see. We have a set of underwear, just cotton briefs, for sleeping or for town. The bag is empty, and the other set of glasses. So I knew that the glasses would break, and I got a spare glass along. So when this first pair broke, I could use the other one. Yeah, both broke. Because this was a long trip. I wasn't expecting to be that long either. Unfortunately, both of them broke on the same side. And it really looks dorky when I wear them now. Not that I didn't look dorky before. But looking at the stitching, I'm not seeing any problems there. Wow. Think of how many days I sat on the bike with these pants. It might... Oh, interesting. I had other ones that the stitching would wear out directly here, but this one has a weird patch here, a cut thing. Maybe that did the trick, that the stitching doesn't go bad. Awesome. Okay, next we have a third bag. That's where my cycling jersey was in, and the cycling shorts. I have an older pair of cycling shorts that is a little less padded. I did wear that once, maybe twice, to test out if that's better than the thick padded one. I have these really old from 2001 cycling shorts that goes with my jersey there. They would be like minimal padding. If I had too much problems, I would have given them a try. I never wore them. So yeah, the jersey part was a little overdone. Not jersey part, shorts part. It's a little overdone. But you never know what works, what doesn't work. Because things change overall. It takes some miles and takes some days to figure out. And then you're far away from home. So here are the cycling gloves that I have that is pretty old. I mean, if I wear them, they work pretty good, but they don't go very high up on here. So my shirt was coming down here and it's kind of exposed my hand. So I got the other gloves for sun protection. Because I really don't need the gloves for the handlebar. I could have gone without gloves. Although I did notice that I have some weird calluses down there and here as well. Those dry spots on my hand. Even though this part never touches the handlebar. Weird. Okay, digging further into the bag. There we have the power brick for the computer. Don't need to pull that out. It's like a big old Dell power brick because it's a big old Dell computer here. I need two hands for that one. I wrapped that in the plastic foil because of the rain. And then it's inside of this protective sleeve here that I just kind of stole. In here is another block of paper. I didn't use a USB cable to download the pictures. I definitely did use that. And the state stickers that I added to my fender. Another bag. Yep. Does that work? Another bag that we have in here is the electronic gadget bag. Gadget number one is a shaver, brown shaver. I'm an electric shaver dude, so took that along with the power cord so I can charge it. Let's move that out of the way. Then we have a second power brick to charge stuff. I was thinking, ooh, if I'm somewhere and I need to charge both of the power things quickly, I can use this one. Never actually use that second brick. Additional cables. Never used these additional cables, although some of them were mini connectors because I have. Oh wait, I did recharge the lights once. So I did use those mini connectors to recharge the lights because my lights unfortunately are so old, they still use mini. I'm going to show them in a second. Here we have a second 20,000 milliampere power brick. I had that stuffed away deeper. So basically this is my second backup. If I use up all the first one, then I know I still have a second one. The truth is, if you do use a lot of power on the power brick and you don't get a chance to charge, you might want to just draw your first one down halfway, then swap it out with this one. When you go somewhere where you can charge your electronic stuff, and you can charge both power bricks at the same time. It's quicker to charge them from 50 to 100%. simultaneously parallel than if you just have one that needs to go all the way to 100%. At least that's my philosophy there. So yeah, in here there's all of the clothing, and outside, inside the rain thing too. Outside I had the tent pole here. This pocket really wasn't used for anything. During various stages of the trip I had some food or other stuff in it, just as needed, kind of. Right up here I have the other water bladder in here. The mosquito net, which came in really handy in the beginning. Sun lotion, which I never really care for too much. I mean, when you take showers as you arrive, then sun lotion is awesome. But if you don't know if you're gonna get showers and your days on, and the sun lotion, and that attracts dirt and stuff. Bug repellent spray. And here are the two headlights. So my bike has these attachments on the bottom for two headlights, and they are rechargeable with, unfortunately, not micro USB-C and USB-C, but micro USB. So that's why I need a different cable. And then I have another real flashing light. I didn't actually use that. The headlights I did use for the tunnel once. Did I use them anywhere else? No, it was pretty much just the tunnel. Yeah. Then up here is another weird bag that is like, has a belt there. You can de-velcro it from this baggie. Again, I have some attachments for my DJI. It's a 3D printed handle. It's really light and short and small. Didn't really use it. This is the clip attachment. You can clip the camera somewhere. I did use that a little bit on some of my scenes, and then it's another universal clamp. I used that a little bit too, not much. There might have been one or two shots using those guys that you might have missed otherwise. In here is my bike repair kit. A tube, spare tube, chain loop. That's what I actually used from the bike repair kit. I had twice re-looped my chain. Don't ask me. I took 2 sets of brake pads along. Spare batteries. I did use 1 set of spare batteries, so that was a good take along. And yeah, the bike repair kit. What do we have in here? Is a lot of stuff. Zip ties, various. Did not need any of those ones. No, not on the road. A wrench, because some of the bolts, these are for some of the bolts. The multi-tool kit, which has your Allen wrenches, a Phillips screwdriver, yeah, whole Allen wrench set. So with that, I should have been able to screw and unscrew most of the things that I needed to. I took this fiber spoke kit along. I have it. I would have to read the manual probably. Electrical tape and some gloves here. kit tire levers. There are also some gloves in there. Is there anything else in there? Oh yeah, there's a tire repair, so some patches, glue, the adapter, and we have more of that right here. So I was prepared for some flats, and didn't have any flats. Awesome! I didn't even had to pump up the tire again for over 2,500 miles. Gosh, man, can't believe that. So the bike really held well through. And to tell you the truth, I actually held well through as well. I would have thought like at the end you're kind of dying or so, but it just became kind of routine. Yeah, that's everything I think, right? Yeah. I think we pretty much went through everything there we have here. So I showed you one cotton underwear, and I'm wearing one cotton underwear obviously right now, so another cotton briefs. And that's pretty much all I had on clothing. There's not much. And oh boy, look at the mess we made here. I need some help cleaning up here. Well, again, thanks for watching the videos and joining my ride. I really had a lot of fun and have to figure out now what to do next. See you down the trail.